Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
And we finally made it. It's, we think, the 300th episode of Guys of a Certain Age. Robbie Kovalent's in studio alongside my esteemed co-host, or fellow host,
Art Shirley.
And Jay Reed.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't do booze and appetizers at a local establishment. So, I mean, we could still go do booze, I guess.
I thought you meant like boo.
Yeah. If I would have been thinking about it, it's been a long morning already. I would have brought a bottle of bubbly, and we could have opened it on air and could have toasted.
Instead, we'll have to eat these Coca-Cola flavored Oreos.
Yeah, we got Jay Coca-Cola flavored Oreos, and Jay got us personalized coolers.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. So, yeah, the ultimate crafty project. You should go on Etsy with this.
And I got Jay
I
and
thought
Robbie
about it.
nothing.
No, you got us your presents.
That's right. My presence is my presence.
Yeah, you should get on Etsy.
I'm thinking about it.
Oh, cool.
Or maybe not Etsy. I'm afraid they might be destroyed by the time they arrived somewhere. But
or Temu would rip it off. Have you seen that happening where Temu, you're seeing things that have been, crafts on Etsy. Temu will completely rip off photos and everything and make their own version of it and sell it much cheaper.
Oh, I was victim.
Wow.
It wasn't Temu, but it was like an Instagram sale, an ad.
Yeah.
And it was this. It was like a stack of small stained glass books, and I saw it in a like a Signals catalog. And it was like Tiffany glass, 153 pieces, and all these things. And I was like, my mom would love that. Oh, and look, on Instagram, it's only 35 instead of 135. Yeah. And it showed up months later from parts unknown, and it was plastic. Completely plastic. No, she was very great and nice, and graceful. She put it away. But she put it up anyway. It's still in her sunroom. But, I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mrs. Reed, on that one.
Yeah, if it's too good
to be true,
it probably is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the whole TMU experience, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll see like software deals or whatever on Instagram. They said if you order now, you go, and then you get on the site and you go, wait a minute, the URL's slightly different than what it probably should be.
Just a touch.
Yeah. Melissa, she doesn't order any more from it, but she ordered. She was kind of addicted for a moment, and she ended up with some pretty cool little things for Christmas and stocking.
You might as well face it. You're addicted to Temu.
My Hawaiian Santa shirt that I wore around the holidays, that came from Temu, and it actually fit. It was
wow.
She ordered a quadruple X, right. So, but that's the way you go. Well, fun. Yep. So, all right. Well, let's get into some Geeks of the Week. Who wants to go
I'll
first?
go first.
Why change anything
up?
Yeah.
Okay, my Geek of the Week is something that we've all watched, I think, by now. Jay's the one that found it for us and let us know about it. And it's
I knew about it before he mentioned it.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard anything about it.
I watched it the morning it released in the hotel room. And
a ManningCast promo that Peyton and Eli were doing. They were talking to Archie, and Archie said, "Do you think you need to go for a Tony?" And they took that to mean they should do a ManningCast Broadway musical. Well, I'm thinking watching this thing, it's probably going to be a minute, maybe 2 minute kind of one joke kind of thing. Do it. No, they really, really went all out with this thing. Long. So you need to look this up. Is that how long? I was thinking
it's like 10:42, something like
10:42, 10:43.
So 10 minutes long, and it has musical numbers, which are pretty good.
Not bad.
I thought were pretty good. Peyton and Eli acquitted themselves fairly well. I mean, they didn't make any participation, but I don't think they dubbed the voices. I think they were their voices, but they were, they great. But then you had coaches. You had Andy Reid singing out there with a little bass line thing, so it was great.
It was hilarious.
And the big cameo.
Yeah, was
Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who I think is now Marvel's new Stan Lee. He's going to be, or Disney's new Stan Lee, because he's going to be in anything that has, Disney, Hulu, ESPN, Marvel, Star Wars probably next.
They have paid him enough money to get him back from Dr.
He will show up anywhere. And the joke was that Archie meant Tony Stark when he said Tony. And so Robert Downey Jr. and Archie are sitting there together. That's pretty neat. Kevin Hart's in there.
Yep.
I think. A lot of,
and our DJ leans over and says, Archie, my name is Robbie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, also Snoop Dogg is in there, but that should be no surprise because he's everywhere.
Oh, I missed him.
He really is everywhere.
Wasn't that Snoop Dogg in it?
Was it Snoop Dogg?
Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm watching it on my phone.
On the phone.
So maybe it wasn't Snoop Dogg. I thought Snoop Dogg had a little piece in there.
It might have. And there was just so many cameos. And I thought it was to me, it's funny that, they were perfectly willing to humiliate themselves.
Yes.
For, to make, they could have just had an ad, but
oh yeah,
a 10-minute long musical.
So, yeah. And, Roger Goodell's in there, and he's kind of plotting against them. I guess he's kind of the
he doesn't. He's afraid the ManningCast would end up taking over. I mean, the musical, than the actual ManningCast.
Yeah.
So.
I will say that some of the things they said, kind of joking about themselves, about how they don't care what the coaches think, and it doesn't. You're going to miss some big plays by listening to us. And it kind of made me want to watch it because I've never watced it before.
Oh, you've never watched the ManningCast? Oh, we'd love watching it.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah,
it is.
And again, that's one of the things that I really thought that would probably be a couple of times they would do it and it would go away, but I think it's become something that. Celebrities, either Hollywood folks or former athletes, be it football or whatever sport they're coming from, because you have a lot of basketball players coming in, are enjoying being on. But the thing is, if you want to pay attention to the game, it's not the show to watch because you're sitting there and they're talking, and then, of course, what's funny is. Whichever one is interviewing, usually it seems like it's Peyton talking to whoever the guest is, and you'll hear Eli going, "Oh, did you see that?" And they're both analyzing the quarterbacks, that are playing, and they seem to root for whoever has the ball.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah.
So what I've got it pulled up over here. I want to know whose living room they're in because there is an Emmy on the mantle, and neither Eli or Peyton have an Emmy or Archie.
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah, so there's an Emmy on the mantle. I don't know whose house they're shooting in.
So they haven't. The show hasn't got an Emmy.
Do you 30 for 30 didn't get an Emmy?
Which one?
The one I'm in.
I'm sorry. The yes. When I say 30 for 30, I obviously mean the book of Jay.
Book of Manning. Yeah, I don't think Book of Manning got an Emmy.
Okay.
I mean,
the only other thing I could think of is Peyton hosting Saturday Night Live, and that one of his
I don't know
that little skit they did where he's playing football with the kids. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
God, that's so funny.
Does Peyton Manning have an Emmy?
I just think it's funny while you're looking at that, what the Mannings have become from Archie playing at Ole Miss in the '60s when my parents were there.
Oh. They were awarded a sports Emmy in the Outstanding Live Series category. So they do
for ManningCast?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Of course, it's sports Emmy.
Yeah.
It doesn't really count. It's kind of like regional Emmys,
Spimmy.
Be careful. We don't use that type of language around here. Sorry, Mrs. Reed. So one of the things that I did notice, Archie's getting old.
Yeah.
Well,
there was that post that went out. Remember when there was the Clarion Ledger?
The Ledger's published his obit, know.
And we're all like, oh my gosh, is he, and he wasn't. It was turning 75, I think, but.
Yeah. It's just, I can root for Archie since he played for the Saints.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. So, but it was a lot of fun. Brilliant. Whoever came up with the idea.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is star-studded. Everybody and their grandmother's in it, except obviously they should have called Jay so he could play his drum in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That would have been the ultimate. That would have been the ultimate camo. Cameo and camo. Yeah.
Maybe one would disappear. But yeah, it was just, I did look it up and Snoop Dogg was in it. So, yeah.
Okay.
So,
go.
Full-time Mr. Mom. I didn't see Cooper anywhere.
No, our Arch.
Maybe our Arch, yeah. But Cooper, I think Cooper's funnier than the other two. Yeah. His stuff he's done through the years has just been pretty hilarious. So, but
I am kind of surprised they didn't have him in it.
Yeah, even a cameo. I thought he'd pop out or try to get in at some point. But anyway, all right, 9 minutes of Mannings. I did not have that on my
almost
bingo
as long as we could have just played the thing.
Yeah, we should have just played the podcast. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Jay, what do you got for a geek?
I have a name change.
Okay, well that does it for this.
To go with this too.
Do what?
Oh yeah, that's right.
What?
We all
No.
know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you do. So Michael
Oh, we
Keaton.
guess. Okay, we guess.
Michael Keaton has decided that he's actually not Michael Keaton. I mean,
Well, he never was Michael.
he never was Michael Keaton, and I thought it was kind of a fascinating story. He's going to go back to his original name, his burn name, which is Michael
His
Douglas.
what name?
Burn.
His born name.
Burn name. Burn name.
His burn name.
You got burned.
Boy, burn
He was in that
something
movie
else.
Burn Man. Anyway, he's going back to Michael Douglas, but he's going to be Michael Keaton Douglas.
Yeah.
And the story was that when he joined the SAG,
String
that
Actors Guild.
you could not have the same name as somebody, which I think is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But Michael Douglas was already taken. Mike Douglas was taken.
That's
so
right.
apparently he flipped through the phone book or some such. And
Oh, the Keaton
found
is not a family name of any kind?
No.
No.
Okay.
He picked it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
At
so
random.
Oh, I think he picked it because he liked Diane Keaton, didn't he?
he said he was flipping through the phone.
He didn't
gotcha,
say that in
gotcha.
the interview, but it's
Okay,
possible.
no, I'm
Yeah.
sure that's probably one of those apocryphal stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said maybe it was a phone book, maybe somewhere, and it just sounded right. So he's been that forever, and he was gonna some movie recently. He was in Gnome or I forget what the name of it.
No,
was.
he directed a movie. He was directing a movie. He asked to use his name, Michael Keaton Douglas, on it. And supposedly they're changing the credit
Knox,
for
Knox Goes Away.
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
the name of the movie,
and that's on Max or something.
yeah. And he was going to put his new name or his old name on there, and he said we got busy and I forgot to tell him.
Oh no, that's funny.
But maybe Beetlejuice will have it. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I read it.
But he's directing a movie, right? I saw an article.
That was it. Yeah, that
Knox
was
Goes Away.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he
Okay,
directed that
Gotcha.
one. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess Beetlejuice, does it come out today?
It comes out today, or it
Okay.
came out yesterday. Maybe this is Friday. Sometime they'll come out
Beetlejuice,
Thursday, but it's
Beetlejuice.
certainly out this weekend.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
Beetlejuice.
I
Number
never
two.
saw Beetlejuice.
Really, you would like Beetlejuice.
I
Just
saw it. I
production
never was
value
a
wise.
big fan of it, but I think I would enjoy seeing the second one just because it's Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Douglas.
It's well worth seeing. It's a very, of course, it happened before Batman, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so that's where I think Tim Burton and Michael Keaton meet, and kind of get
Okay.
to know each other. And so you have this movie, and then he comes out and says, well, I'm going to have Michael Keaton be Batman, and that's just from Mr. Mom and other stuff he had done. Nobody thought he was going to do it, but especially after seeing him in Beetlejuice, you were kind of thinking, this might not work, but it did. But yeah, it's a just very different movie. It's very Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah.
I mean, you go see it in the theater.
Yeah, I think we may see it. Yeah.
So you're going to come back with Edward Scissorhands too?
Oh,
Did you like Edward Scissorhands, Art?
yeah, I liked it too. Yeah, I like Tim Burton stuff. Yeah.
I have to be in a special mood to, Nightmare Before Christmas, all that.
Yeah. I
Burton.
can certainly understand that. It's
Yeah.
it's something that you don't just go, hey, let's
Yeah.
watch some Tim Burton.
Sleepy Hollow.
Beetlejuice is probably my favorite, and to me, it's the most accessible of his movies.
It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah.
But Becky and I won a Halloween costume as Beetlejuice and Lydia, back after it came out.
Was that Winona Ryder? Did she play
Yeah.
Lydia?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Way
Is
back.
she in this one too? Did
Yes,
she appear in this?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Jenny Ortega is the new
So-
character in it.
Okay, so Gina Davis was in the original, right?
Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin were both in the original one,
wow.
and neither one of them are returning for this
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
And the reason is kind of a practical reason. They're both deceased in the other movie, so they're not supposed to age, and unfortunately, they have.
Right.
Alec Baldwin may be in jail for it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was.
I think he was acquitted.
He was
acquitted.
acquitted.
Yeah.
He was, and he should have been. It was not his fault.
Uh-uh.
No, not his fault. Anyway, so the James Gunnification of the DC universe continues. So the rumor is that Josh Brolin,
Oh yeah.
Thanos, is in the running to play Hal Jordan as Green Lantern in the DCU.
And that's a series?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
We don't know what's going to happen. Nathan Fillion is going to be Guy Gardner
Yeah.
in upcoming Superman.
Uh-huh.
So they're talking about introducing a Hal Jordan character somewhere, somehow.
With Jon Stewart, I think, being the lead primary Green Lantern in whatever this is,
Yeah.
the movie or series. So Hal Jordan's going to be a little older in this.
Yeah, exactly. Not only, the Josh Brolin news has not been confirmed. The other two candidates, have you heard this? Ewan McGregor as Hal Jordan. Oh, wait till you get this one. Matthew McConaughey is in the running for Hal Jordan. Those are the 3 top candidates for Hal Jordan.
So I don't know what Hal Jordan looks like in the comics. So what do y'all think?
He looks like Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion is probably who should have played him years, when he was younger. But that he would have been the ideal casting for me.
He doesn't look like Ryan.
Glenn Powell could play him now if you wanted to go with a younger version of him. I think he would be really good. Ryan Reynolds was not a bad Hal Jordan in terms of casting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of script, it was pretty hard.
So those 3 though, none of them look like
In brightest day or darkest night at night.
I think it's the Green Lantern's light, but it may be something else I lit up. Ooh, hook 'em
Instead of a
horns.
lantern, can we have a bong? I think that'd be kind of good.
Hook 'em horns and lanterns. So
Yeah, that's whenever he uses the Green Lantern, he's got the hook 'em horn sign.
He's got the ring on. Matthew McConaughey. I watched parts of Tropic Thunder, and I've forgotten how much I love Matthew McConaughey's
little cameo in that.
Well, no, I mean he wasn't a cameo. He was the agent for.
That's right.
For what's his face for Ben Stiller's character.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
And
I need to see that again.
Gosh, it's so inappropriate and
So
so
inappropriate.
funny. But basically, Tom Cruise was trying to buy off McConaughey and saying, "Look, if what's his face, if Ben Stiller's character gets killed while they're filming this movie, we get lots of insurance money, and I'll give you millions and a Gulf Stream, and we will mourn him. We will mourn him." But anyway, hilarious.
That's a good movie.
I mean, did you ever see Tropic Thunder?
Yeah. I don't remember all that. I just remember Robert Downey Jr.
So we went, I'm just a dude trying to play a dude who's a dude.
Yeah.
Art and I actually went to go see it in the theater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And that was before Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was
starting the beginning of his comeback, which
Yeah.
was solidified.
Yeah.
But
Oh man, Tropic Thunder. It's hilarious. Simple Jack. Oh, okay.
we can't quote a lot of it.
Yeah, it's a very much a Sorry Mrs. Reed show, but it's a lot of fun movie. So all right, so that does it for our Geeks of the Week. Jay, you went right
I went what?
with the Geek of the Week, right?
Did you finish your geek?
Yeah, Michael Keaton, changed name.
I'm joking. Beetlejuice. So we're gonna take a break. Then it's gonna be time for
Jay's Regrettable Segment. Jay's Regrettable Segment today brought to you by Coca-Cola flavored Oreos. Yes, the gift that keeps on giving. Unfortunately, only from Robbie, not me. Jay's Regrettable Segment coming up right after this.
And show 300, or what we think is 300, continues with a special segment.
Jay's Regrettable Segment, which also may be regrettable in terms of the podcast as well. Maybe 300 is as far as we'll go. Who knows? We'll see. It's all up to Jay Reed and his regrettable segment.
Reggie.
All right, what you got for us, Mr. Reed?
The first one we're going to do is actually the last in this book that's broken up into Golden Age, Silver Age, and another age. I can't remember the Copper
Bronze.
Age or something. Who knows?
Copper. It's Bronze Age.
Yeah, Bronze Age. So this is the last of the Golden Age, and this dude's name is Zippo. So what do you suppose?
Zippo, the lighter guy?
What do you suppose his power is?
Is he a lighter flame?
Actually, no. He's fast. He goes
Oh, I
fast.
should have guessed that. Yeah.
But
It'd been better if he'd been a lighter.
Yeah.
same name as a lighter. You could flame on. I mean, that would work. So Zippo is from Clue Comics #1 in 1943, created by Pierce Rice. He was his actual name was Joe Blair. He's a private detective, and he's not a super powered person. He's got a gizmo. He's got and it almost looks like a little limiting to me, but it's like they call it an exoskeleton. He wears a belt with compressed air capsules in it, and it's got like a leg contraption that on the bottom is carborundum wheels with an axle strapped to his foot. So he can run up to 65 miles an hour on these wheels.
But he's got a regular human body in this.
He's a regular human body, and basically all it kind of looks like, when you see these guys playing pro football with the big, knee braces, like with the serious ones.
Yeah.
It's just a rod that goes from the belt to the knee, and there's a joint, and then down to the to the foot, and there's a wheel, and the wheels can make him go up to 65 miles an hour. They also can cut through things, or like got a little abrasiveness to him. So that's pretty much his power. He calls himself the Motorman on wheels, which he didn't work very hard on that. Villains he fought against were kind of twofold. One was these weird group of beast men, the Fly, the Lynx, the Goblin, and basically aside from that, it was just slow crooks.
Yeah, okay, slow crooks.
People that he could beat in speed.
And how fast could he go?
65 miles an hour was
So kind of like the $6 million man.
Apparently got up to 85 one time.
It'd be more like the $62.
It's a $62 man. Well,
yeah.
43.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he has
regrettable.
a lot going for him.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the $6 million man. There are human parts there that are having to move faster than they do, and there's got to be friction that's happening.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, well, he's at some point the wear and tear on his joints and stuff has got to wear.
Well, and this is, he's kind of running, but he's got the wheels that are doing the work.
Yeah.
And, but I'm thinking like when your compressed air runs out, then you're kind of just an average guy locked up in a metal contraption.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we've got a lot better speed.
Yeah,
heroes.
he's definitely no Flash.
Yeah, he's no Flash. He's no Kid Flash. He's no
Quicksilver.
Yeah,
Johnny Speed.
Yeah, so
Johnny Speed. Johnny
regrettable on Zippo. And then we go into the Silver Age at that point. So that listed is 1950 to 1969. So the upside, basically what happened with the Golden Age, and y'all could probably speak to this too, is somebody wrote a book called The Seduction of the Innocent, which basically said that comics were a negative influence on kids. And so after that came out, the superhero comic kind of took a dive.
That's where the comics code came from.
That's
where, that's what. So the comics that have been happening up until that time were, you had a lot of violence and gore and all this kind of stuff. Some things went to, like EC went to a magazine format, which were not, controlled by the comics code. But the comics code is a code that the comic book company came up with themselves to kind of enforce decency. And this is where Batman became, kind of the dark vigilante that he was. All of a sudden he becomes, kind of a silly character in a lot of ways. A lot of the real space adventures and all that kind of stuff started happening. Yeah,
I didn't realize that. And apparently, when you look at the Silver Age too, this is when like 1966, when the Batman TV series came out, and it made everybody wanted to be a Batman of sorts. Marvel began to rise during this period. So this was this is kind of a rebirth. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that B-Man illustrates the best of.
And that's, I see, it's a letter B, not a.
Well, it's B-Man, the letter B, but it does say B-E-E, and he is a B of sorts. So this one has an interesting story, though. The writers and the creators are Otto Binder and Bill Draught. This is from Double Dare Adventures #1, which is, I think, a Harvey imprint in 1966.
Otto Binder I've heard before.
Okay. So the guy's name was Barry E. Eames.
Okay.
B-E-E. Okay. He was a mission control technician. He was disgruntled. He sabotaged some sort of remote control rocket that had been in space with the idea that he was going to steal whatever the cargo was that they had picked up on. Well, when he got in there to get the cargo, it turned out to be some mutant space bees who basically gave him a rough time and carried him back to their world. Then a few years later, he comes back and he's wearing this super technological bee armor from that world. He's got supersonic wings. He's got apparently a stinger on his nose, something like that. Honey grenades. It didn't go into detail about how these worked, but he starts off as a villain.
Okay.
He comes back. He's only made it 2 issues. Issue #1, he comes back and he basically steals and robs and hides out all the stuff in his hive, which is apparently quite a big HQ. But then in #2, he uses those forces for good. The Bee Planet, I guess where he came from, has some plans for humanity which were not favorable. So B-Man turns on Queen Bee, B-E-A, the beautiful but cruel Queen Bee. He joins the FBI. And
no, he doesn't.
And then
does he really?
Then he's done. Well, he joins forces with the FBI. Yeah. Okay. And then that's it. He's good in 1 issue, bad in 1 issue, and then he's done.
Oh, so that's it. That's his whole run.
That's it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 runs, two issues. So
Yeah.
which
I mean, even though we've got, similar heroes in Spider-Man and Blue Beetle or whatever, I'm going to have to say no, regrettable for that one.
Yeah.
I think we're in agreement there.
Okay.
The stinger on the nose did it for me because I'm saying,
Buzz, buzz, buzz. Watch my stinger. There's a story behind that. I'll tell you that later.
Okay.
Off mic.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So
No, it didn't.
the
But
third one is Brain Boy.
Brain Boy.
Another not very creative name, but this one is different in that. Okay, so Matt Price is the alias, so to speak, of this one. Herb Castle was the writer. Gil Kane. Is that right?
Yeah.
Herb Castle and Gil Kane in 4-Color Comics, which is a Dell imprint in 1962. So
Gil Kane was a big comic book artist. He redesigned Green Lanterns.
related to Bob Kane?
No,
Or
not
okay.
related to Bob, but same last name, but not related. But he redesigned the Green Lantern look when DC during this time re-envisioned the Flash and Green Lantern and some of the other heroes. He was instrumental in that. He and Carmine Infantino.
Okay, cool. Connecting the dots here on the podcast. So Brain Boy was Matt Price, and his parents were in an accident. Their car hit an electrical tower of some sort. His father was killed. His mother was still pregnant with him. So 2 months later, he's born and basically can speak fluent English the moment he's born. So something happened with the electricity, and
they renamed him Doogie Howser.
right. So he doesn't have a costume. He really doesn't have. His powers are.
Well, he's still an infant.
Well, that's true. He does sort of have a power. No, apparently there's a flash forward. To when he's a grown up, but he doesn't really have a costume. He goes by his normal name most of the time, but he's called Brain Boy. He has mind control. Obviously he's smart, telepathy, telekinesis. But pretty much he's just fighting other evil telepaths on behalf of the government and.
So he's Charles Xavier.
Exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, nothing special, and as far as regrettable or not, I mean, I can see. Maybe Charles Xavier is it. Maybe.
Yeah. I think the idea is good. This character is regrettable. It was done better as Charles Xavier.
How many episodes? I mean, how many issues did it say?
That one it didn't say.
It's still running today.
Yeah, it was the fighting the communists kind of a thing. So it probably.
I like the cover.
It's a very different cover. It's the Brain Boy fighting a dinosaur.
I'm going to see how many.
Is it? Who did you say was the publisher, the comic book company?
Dell.
Yeah, they would do the painted covers.
4-Color Comics.
That is a good looking cover. So it ran for. I don't know, 2 years.
Wow.
Dark Horse Comics released a hardcover archive collection at the end of 2011.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Maybe we should rethink the
Dark
regrettable.
Horse Comics rebooted the character for their superhero line, along with Captain Midnight, Catalyst, and X. So Brain Boy did come back. So
Well,
obviously somebody
maybe.
didn't think he was
regrettable at all.
Yeah.
We may have spoken too soon.
Yeah. So
Perhaps
it
we
says
weren't the brain boys we thought we were.
The Dell Comics, the book says, was kind of they didn't do a lot of superhero type stuff at the time. It was more like Disney characters, things like, it even says adaptations of Bewitched, Maverick, and Mission Impossible. So I'm curious about the Bewitched comic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Brain Boy. And then we will close with the most, with the
how appropriate.
ideal name. Yeah.
Yes.
This is the right name for this
The
podcast.
Geek.
Brother Power the Geek. Now,
Brother Power.
the
Okay.
Geek. Okay.
So this one happens in hippie time, whatever that is. Created by Joe Simon. He actually had its own.
Joe Simon, one of
This
the
is a
co-creators
DC.
of Captain America.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
Joe
Well,
Simon
so-
and Jack Kirby created Captain America.
So he got better then with his character development.
Now, this was, what year is this?
This would have been 68.
Yeah.
October 68.
So Captain America had been created in
Oh,
40.
really?
Yeah. He was
Okay.
World War II guy.
Who's Captain America? I know
No.
Captain.
Well-
I thought you were asking me.
Captain America was created in 1940, around there.
Okay.
Maybe 39,
Okay. Well, it does
40.
say Joe Simon, who cut his teeth on Captain America in the heyday of World War II. So,
If he cut his teeth, it means it happened before.
right. So he's probably. I think it said he was about 55 or so when he came up with this one. And
Lightning may not have struck twice.
they were what? Are you familiar with the character? Because you're like prophesying over there.
Am I? Is he
You are.
lightning based?
He's lightning based.
Yep.
This is maybe one of the weirdest origin stories ever. So these two hippies are kind of beaten up by a biker gang, thrown in a river. They put their wet clothes on a mannequin by a radiator. Lightning strikes the mannequin, and it comes alive.
Oh my gosh!
And they call it Brother Power the Geek.
Which was originally going to be called The Freak, it appears.
Okay.
Do you have that name?
It's not in here. No, that's not in here.
Yeah, but was renamed to The Geek due to concern by DC Comics management over the possible drug reference Freak implied at the time.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think the reason it only lasted a couple of issues is because of that same reason.
The writers were
besides
distracted.
the confusing
and just
plot. Yeah.
Hey, man. We're supposed to do that today?
When's the deadline?
The guy who's at Mort, I'll probably get this wrong, Mort Weisinger,
Yeah.
the DC Comics editor, basically didn't like hippie culture and decided didn't need to be killed. And I don't. Again, he didn't have any powers. He fought against the wicked bean counter Lord Slide Rule. That's the only criminal.
Gosh, that's
it mentions.
hilarious.
That's great.
Job hunts. He tries to become president or Congress in Congress. So this book was not really clear on what exactly his superhero status was, aside. But so I'm going regrettable on this for sure.
I don't know. I kind of like it. And look, I'm on Wikipedia doing a little supplemental research. The character was revived briefly 2 decades later, first in a short story by Neil Gaiman in Swamp Thing Annual Number 5, and then in a Vertigo one-shot titled Vertigo Visions The Geek.
Okay, well, it did say that he had made a couple of appearances later, but it didn't get that specific.
In Gaiman's story, Brother Power is revealed to be an imperfect elemental similar to the Swamp Thing.
Oh.
And he's connected to all human simulacri, such as dogs, dummies, statues, etc. Simulacra.
Simulcry?
CRA.
That's the plural of simulacrum, which is the singular of that. But I've seen it's one of those I've seen the word and I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay. So
I would probably.
Well, what I think Neil Gaiman's take on it probably improved this character.
So this is pretty funny. So in Gaiman's story, Brother Power is revealed to be an imperfect elemental. The story resumes with the rocket's return to Earth. Apparently they'd shot him out into space or something. Then the rocket was guided into Tampa Bay by a firestorm.
Okay.
After an unsuccessful attempt to destroy it, his newfound ability to change his size at will leads to a call to Batman, who defers to Abigail Cable. I don't know that character. Ultimately, an aging hipster named Chester calms him down.
Okay.
Well, it does say here after it said it was killed that he was unceremoniously fired via rocket into permanent orbit.
Okay.
I thought
so
that
he
was a
picked that right
metaphor.
up.
I thought that was a metaphor.
Yeah.
Oh, he actually did that. Okay.
And so the second story that was in the Vertigo one-shot, his adversary, Lord Slide Rule, now in a business suit, and depicted Brother Power being forced to perform as a circus geek, eating live animals for the first time.
That's what I wondered if they meant by geek. So that circus geek term, that was a...
Is that more specific term, circus geek? What does that mean?
The geek from the circus was the guy that was basically just... sat there and would eat live chickens, would eat live rats and stuff, and they just did that kind of stuff. So geek, and as we know it now with the nerd
Like
kind
the
of
nerd.
stuff, but the circus geek is that person that Robbie described a second ago.
Okay.
So,
on the
wow.
cover is like a thing that lives and fights for its soul, and then it says, "Here's the real life scene of the dangers in hippie land."
Yeah, I see it.
Was it
I
supposed to
see
be a
it.
cautionary tale? Is that what we're looking at? Okay.
So one of the backgrounds here, the concept was derived heavily from Frankenstein.
Ah,
It did
yeah, I can
mention
see that.
Well,
yeah.
the lightning, yeah.
Yeah, and that Simon was trying to go for kind of a wandering outcast philosopher a lot like Silver Surfer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Brother Power the Geek. I kind of like it. What do you think, Jay? What is
It's
it
interesting, but I think I'm glad you looked more up because I didn't have a chance to see all that. So it makes it more interesting. And the fact that he was brought back and the fact that now you just name dropped Neil Gaiman, that makes it more interesting.
What was that?
Simulacrum.
Simulacrum.
We're not going to start pronouncing words correctly now. Just because we're at 300 doesn't mean we're going to change our ways.
Starting with 301.
Starting at 301 is simulacrum. Okay. Simulacri.
I don't even know you anymore. Who
Simulation. I guess it's from the word simulation.
Are you? Yeah, I would think so.
The more you know.
We're not on NBC either.
Dang it.
You know,
I thought that was happening with 301.
No. Well, NBC's not going to be around much longer. Thread that's going. It's all Comcast land. So
It's all Comcast.
all right. So basically, art poo-pooed everything.
I'm going to say that's redeemable.
Redeemable. That's what we should be doing. Regrettable or redeemable.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Neil Gaiman proved that could happen.
But Neil Gaiman can kind of redeem almost.
Yeah, and I just finished reading Batman 100 Greatest Batman Moments or throughout the history of Batman, and there's a lot of that in there. You'll find these characters that came out like as a villain. I'm thinking of like Kite Man or whatever. That
Beep. Yeah.
probably may seem regrettable, and then somebody takes it and says, "Let's take a real wild twist on this." And Neil Gaiman was some of those. Did some of those. But and then it becomes something. Oh my gosh, how did people not like this guy before? Well, if you look at what originally came out, that wasn't there. But you
need somebody to actually.
So Brain Boy and Geek are probably both redeemable. Seem to have been redeemable.
Well, the whole Brain Boy thing, I think you've got to. There's a lot to work with there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could do it. You could spin it differently.
I still stand by
Xavier.
Zippo though. It's regrettable.
Yeah, Zippo is really, really, really regrettable. So,
For sure.
But anyway.
And B-Man. I think B-Man is.
The stinger on the nose gets me.
Watch my stinger.
And on that note,
thanks for 300 episodes, guys. You guys out there, all three of you who continue to listen. Hopefully we'll see you next time around.